Notice number 3, Fijian election, motion by the member for Herbert.
Call the member for Herbert.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Julie Bishop, Australia's Foreign Minister, will tell you that Fiji is a critical economic, transport and political hub in the Pacific, and it plays a natural leadership role in the region. A thriving and prosperous Pacific will not be complete without a thriving and prosperous Fiji. In short, it was important to all the nations of the Pacific, including Australia, that this election was a success. Australia was invited to co-lead the MOG, the Multinational Observer Group, with Indonesia and India. Being part of this election was one of the most gratifying things I have done as a Member of Parliament. We were part of an accredited group of observers from the host nations, as well as Canada, the European Union, Israel, Japan. The Melanesian Spearhead Group included Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands, New Zealand, Korea, Russia, South Africa, Turkey, the UK and the US. There were 92 of us in all, and we attended just over 1/3 of the booths in operation on the day of the election, all the way across the country and the many islands that were there. This is a country which has not had an election in 8 years. Then, 8 years ago, the voting age was 21. This time around, the voting age was lowered to 18. So still, many people just under the age of 30 would be having their very first democratic vote in their lives. The enthusiasm shown by the voting public was overwhelming. As we in my group travelled around Nandi, both in town and way up in the hills and the very small villages, the feeling was the same. They all wanted this, and they were proud to be proud to be taking part in their own history. Many people were ready early and stood quietly in the sun, dressed formally to exercise the vote. The booth workers were incredible with their diligence to the task at hand and their attention to detail. When we finished, at around 11:30 p.m, some of these booth workers had put in days of over 18 hours, but still had smiles on their faces. The work in creating a new electoral system, or a new voting system, was no mean feat. The pressure on the Fijian Electoral Commission was huge. The targeted assistance by the brave and hardy Australian public servants who went over there to help must never be underestimated. We did not take over, nor did we perform some form of Big Brother role. Our public servants worked side by side with one goal in mind. That goal was the return of full democracy to this great Pacific nation. That this would be the first in many, and that this would be the first in many elections, and that Fiji would prosper because of that. Many people were worried that it might be cancelled at the last moment. Many were worried that the result could be fixed. From what I saw, obviously the election wasn't cancelled, but the work the booth workers, booth attendants, was absolutely first class. They knew that if they did their job very, very well, their nation would benefit. Not one booth worker I saw during that very, very long day was slacking off. They did not want a failure to be. They did not want a failure of this to be sheeted home to them personally. John Howard will always say that the electorate always gets it right. To all involved, I say thank you and congratulations. The hard-working staff of the Australian High Commission and the MOG, I say a tremendous thank you and congratulations. The work they did, Deputy Speaker, in the lead up to this over months and months was no mean feat. We had to make sure that this thing was going to be a success. The MOG was based in Suva, and we travelled across the country. Some of us went to islands, some of us went to other parts of the main island. But to a person, we came back, and whilst you could nitpick on certain things and you could always pick holes in someone's arguments, what there was a general consensus that this was hugely successful, and for a first election, it was tremendously successful. The people involved should be very, very proud, but more so the people of Fiji, the way they turned up, the way they had their voter cards, the way they would travel about the next day coming back to Suva, and everyone would show the finger where it was inked to show that they had in fact voted, that they had participated in it. There was only one error in the entire time, and that really wasn't the fault of the Australian High Commission. It was actually ex-Senator Russell Trude who threw out the mathematics, leaving one particular member stranded at the hotel instead of getting to the airport on time. The member for Greenway will go down in history as the one they left behind. But having been she's very comfortable in Fiji, very comfortable indeed. So to everyone in Fiji, we hope we'll be back. And I say, Solatale Nimataka. Thank the House.